Hello friends, today I'm going to solve LeetCode problem number 1207, unique number of occurrences. So in this problem we are given an array of integers array and we need to return true if the number of occurrences of each value is unique, which is that the frequency of each of the element is unique. Basically frequency of the element with the same value is different from all of the other values, and we need to return false else. So let's look at this example here in this example. We have this array, right? So the frequency of element 1 is equals to if we count the frequency, it's equals to 1, 2, and the 3. So the frequency is equals to 3 for 2. The frequency is equals to 2. So and for element with value 3, the frequency is equals to 1. So since the frequencies of each of these are unique, we return a true. If in case we had one more 3 here, then the frequency of 3 would have been 2, and then there would be 2 elements with different values whose frequency would be same, right? In that case we will return a false. Now talking about the way to solve this problem, how could we optimally solve this problem? Basically we need the frequency of each of the elements, frequency of each of the element with same value. So we need the frequency of 1, we need the frequency of 2, we need the frequency of 3, right? What we did here. So to store the frequencies, what we need, well, basically we need a map. So we will be storing all of these frequencies in a map. And now to find unique values, what do we use? We usually use a set, right? Because set it always stores unique values. It doesn't store any repetition. So we will use a set and we are gonna save this frequency. So we iterate over each of the values in the map and we store the frequency. The frequency is 3 and 3 is not, we then add 2 in the set. And now when we add our next frequency 2, we see that 2 is already in our set, right? Which means that we already encountered our value 2 earlier, so there is a repetition in the frequency. So that is when we return a false, when we try to insert a 2 into the set. So this is what we will be doing. We will be using a map and a set. So now let's write down our code. And then we need to create a map with the frequency. So let element of the array, and then if the element already exists in the map, then we are just gonna update the frequency of the map. Dot set e comma map dot get the value that is already stored and then increase it by 1. Else what we do is we set the value of the element as 1, because that is the first time we encounter the element. And once our map is created here, so we create a map, now we need to create our set. So we need to iterate over each of the values of the map. So let frequency, and the values we have stored the frequency of map dot values. So these values actually returns iterable of values in the map. So here if set already has the frequency, then we're gonna return false because that's repetition, it's not unique. Else we just add to our set the frequency, and finally we return a true if each of the frequencies are unique. So now let's run our code, and Talking about the time complexity of this solution. Okay, so something went wrong here. So this is a typo here. The time complexity for this operation, we are iterating over each of the element of the array, right? And then for each this operation we are iterating over the number of frequencies. So basically this is O of n, and this is O of k, where it could be O of n in the worst case, where each of the element only occurs once, where each of the element is like suppose for this example we have an array. Suppose we have an array 1 2 3 4 something. So each of the element here is unique, right? Which means that each of the frequency of each of these element will the map will also have each of these elements. So we need to iterate each for O of n times here as well. So the worst case would be O of n. So basically the total time complexity is O of n here. Now let's submit our code, and cool, so it worked.